Dylan Mulvaney is the classic cry bully. Check this out. Dylan Mulvaney demands companies stand up to bigots, commit to LGBTQL, MNOP, AARP, RSTLNE partners after Bud Light fiasco that you caused directly, and then made even worse by trying to appeal to your audience by saying that Anheuser Busch wouldn't stand behind you. Nobody contacted me. Yeah, they were too busy trying to put out a $44 billion fire, you absolute clown. But now they want other companies. Okay, Dylan wants other companies to go ahead and take that same poison pill that is forever going to taint the Bud Light brand. Really, really smart, really compelling option that you have right there. Either don't pay attention to these weirdos, or just suffer the same fate as Target, as Bud Light, as hell, even Starfield. Starfield with their they're just pronouns, bro. Oh yeah, that was just a game that Bethesda put out, bro. Nobody cares anymore. Comments came several months after Mulvaney slammed Bud Light for abandoning her during the boycott to the beer brand. It's still going on, by the way. Trans woman Dylan Mulvaney urged companies that are serious about progressive activism. That's a very small pool. A lot of those companies pay lip service, especially in June, but then outside of that, they drop it like a brand, like an old toy when something new comes through. Good luck with this pressure campaign to be true allies, to divert talent and not abandon them when the going gets tough. Listen, if you're hiring us to be spokespeople and we're not very good at actually advertising your brand, that just means that you're at fault. You should continue to cut us checks because we're special individuals and we don't need to provide any value. We're just special because of who we are, and you just shouldn't abandon us when the going gets tough. That's basically what that's code for. Translate the transinese for you. In one of the first major interviews since the Bud Light boycott, Mulvaney demanded that companies get more serious about the diversity initiatives. Yeah, we've arrived at this position because companies got so entrenched in their diversity initiatives, and now they're starting to look at this and go, oh God, how about no? Social media influencer, yeah, Mulvaney's about as much of an influencer as she is a woman, said companies need to establish strong bonds with their progressive allies. No, they need to establish strong bonds with their audience. Progressives don't buy anything. That's the big problem. Rather than promoting them in a performative way, when everything that Dylan Mulvaney does is an absolute over-the-top performance, how else do you hire him? You're not gonna have Dylan sit down and give a long, eloquent Charles Olivier style advertisement. Okay, this isn't gonna be Daniel Day-Lewis, just in full character delivering There Will Be Blood style soliloquy. Dylan Mulvaney is about as camp as Jim Carrey is the Riddler in Batman Forever. Whether it's hawking cheap hotels, fucking Tupperware, or shitty horse piss in a can. There's only one way, and it's simply performative. Zero self-awareness? Well, that was obvious by telling more companies to also commit seppuku. Mulvaney made the statement in a recent interview with a 2023 Forbes CMO Summit. Chief Management Officer, Marketing Officer? Really? You got invited to that in Miami Tuesday. I wonder if he ended up getting the $40,000 that you were asking for a speaking appearance. Just wondering. They included what appeared to be a veiled dig at Bud Light because, of course, man, that's what you have to do in order to try to push the initiatives that got you hired in the first place. Denigrate the biggest spot that you ever got. Paint that as a failure and then just go, no, that was just a one-off because I've done such great works for Nike and everybody associating, last year's collection with just fake dude tits. Speaking to Seth Matlins, managing director at Forbes CMO Network, Mulvaney cited her own experience of being the brunt of hate and vitriol. Yeah, because that's what you want. Somebody to just go ahead and play the victim and not associate any of this self-perpetuating narcissism with the brand that they are supposed to market. It's just doesn't really work out all that well. After the Bud Light partnership to call companies to take the relationships with progressive activists and diverse employees more seriously. Remember when you used to get a celebrity, okay? You would get an old, washed up NFL player to just go ahead and go, hey, make sure that you come and stop down at Hyde Park Chevrolet. You can get a brand new Chevy Impala with just a 25% down. It's a great deal. You could trust me. Ahmed Green. I don't know, for whatever reason, that was the first old player that's not like a superstar that I can think of. Like, it would be somebody that was appropriate for the brand, okay? Like, if Dylan Mulvaney wants to be a spokesperson, wants to go ahead and shill a new product, it would be something that would cater to your audience, like a dilator sponsorship, a clean needle initiative, a peroxide company, you know, something that's more your speed. Progressive companies, if they want to go ahead and advertise with progressive people, you go ahead and do that. But I think, as we've seen time and time again, whenever companies start to adopt woke policies, say it all with me, guys, get woke, go broke. But if you are intrinsically woke, then we can run it back razor fist style. Get woke after you go broke. You only do that because you're heading down the pathway of starting to croak. This shit doesn't sell. We know that the most woke generation, we got Gen Z coming up that adopts all of this shit wholeheartedly. They ain't got fucking money. Like, you could take a look, okay? They did a breakdown. I was listening to it on a podcast. They were talking about, it was about Marvel, okay, and all the new Marvel movies. Like, you can take it down, you can take a look at the demographics, or what are there, what are the age groups, who's actually going to see this shit. Millennials are still going to the theater and checking out those films. And then right underneath of that, for whatever reason, it's baby boomers, okay? Maybe they remember when, you know, I remember when the comic books were brand new. It's like, okay, that's the second biggest base. And then the third biggest base, then it's Gen X. And then a steep drop off to the fourth biggest demographic. Then you have Gen Z clocking in. And what's happening with all of those Marvel films? Well, they've been intrinsically, intersectionally feministic for a very long time, trying to appeal to that audience. What ends up happening? Nobody fucking cares, bro. Like, over the past 2-3 years, how many of those shitty shows have just been plopped out onto their terrible streaming services? And even if you can remember, even if you can name 5 of them, how many plots do you remember? How many of them did you actually watch to completion? Even though none of them are anything more than, 8 episodes? When you get companies trying to go in on this stuff, the only people that benefit from this are the likes of Dylan Mulvaney, because, okay, as Bud Light, as we all know, their popularity right through the floor. Dylan Mulvaney's name recognition right through, busted that glass ceiling, in her case, face first. How Bud Light sales are faring 6 months since the devastating boycott. Bud Light sales are still struggling nearly 6 months after transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney first posted the video on Instagram featuring a personalized can on April 1st. Yeah, man, holy, we went through the entire summer with Bud Light not doing anything. Shared a video of herself drinking Bud Light. Yes, celebration of 365 days of girlhood. Remember when they tried to run that op that it was 365 days of womanhood for a little while to try to soften the blow that, oh wow, they really did. Anheuser Busch really did hire a groomer. The move enraged right-wing activists and also those crazy lefties, which again, Dylan very much did highlight that. They didn't want to support the company because they didn't stand behind the trans and queer representation. So no. It's not the right-wing activists. It was just right-wing individuals. It was conservative-minded people where, wow, you think that represents your average Bud Light drinker? Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and not purchase the beer anymore. Is that what you call activists? Because I think words are important, definitions are necessary, and if you're going to go ahead and elaborate on that definition that much, we got a problem. Some conservatives shared footage of the social media destroying Bud Light cans using an array of dramatic means. That was one person who very much went back to Bud Light. Shout out to Kid Rock for liking what he likes. The most recent data from Bernstein on the week ending September 9th saw Bud Light with an 8.9% share of the U.S. beer market. That was down from 12% immediately before the boycott began. Oh, shucks. In the 4 weeks to September 9th, Bud Light's sales declined around 30% in both volume and dollar value compared to the same period last year. Speaking to Fox News Digital, Harry Schumacher, the Beer Business Daily publisher, said that the latest figures show that the decline in Bud Light sales has become quasi-permanent. Nielsen data released in August showed that Bud Light sales fell by 26.5%, higher decline than the 25.9% year-on-year fall recorded in the week ending in June 17th. Yep, it's all terrible. It's all terrible for the beer brewer, I guess that's the best way to go. Distributor, there we go. But as for Mulvaney, got a brand new grift that's out there, okay? Not working too well as a spokesperson anymore. That just they got way too taxing. You had to plan out all your skits, okay? You had to have so much energy for that. But now you can start going on the victimhood grift where, oh, we need more trans representation. No, we don't, because we've seen it in action. It doesn't work. Kind of like you now. Ain't nobody hiring. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.